Brad Stephen Abercrombie remembered. Brad, the older of my two sons, was a man in the truest sense of the word. Brad was strong-headed, but with a good heart. According to Brad, you stood by your family and friends. If you took a job, you did the job. And if you gave someone your word, you kept it. Brad graduated high school at the age of 16 and started college at ASU to study engineering. He soon found out that college life was not for him. He came home deciding to apprentice with the IBEW Electrical Union. After a few years, he became a master electrician. When Brad wasn't working, he was fishing. He loved to fish for bass. He'd get up before daylight and fish till he just had to come home. Brad joined BASS and read all he could about fishing. Brad also joined several local fishing clubs. Along with his partner, Brad did well in tournaments. On Sunday, you would find Brad in front of the TV watching NASCAR. I never understood what the fascination with go fast and turn left was. After coming home from ASU, Brad married a girl he'd been dating for years. Their marriage lasted 3 years. He began dating again, although none of these were serious relationships. 10 years after his divorce, Jessica Morgan and Brad began dating. Jessica had divorced an abusive husband months before. This relationship between Brad and Jessica started out to be just two people dating. Jessica had 2 children, a daughter 7 and a son 18 months. Brad and Jessica had only been dating 4 months, but love is not governed by time. I don't know which he fell in love with first, the children or Jessica, but fall in love he did. The fact that you seldom saw Jessica without her children made an impression on Brad because of his strong family ties. Brad called and visited with his mother almost daily. No matter where he was working in the country, Brad called. Arizona, New Mexico, Wisconsin, or Arkansas. Brad always called. Brad and his mother had a unique relationship. They were also friends. Brad and his mother would talk with total honesty because they valued each other's opinion. She misses him badly. She wants to talk with him and hold him to this day. Only one thing eases her pain for a while. She talks with his younger brother, Billy Roy, who lives in Maryland. Deliberate indifference, the conscious or reckless disregard of the consequences of one's acts or omissions. It is my belief that Sheriff Phil Mask, Chief Deputy Bill Fields, the Saline County Sheriff, along with Saline County Prosecutor Robert Hertzfield, are responsible for the deaths of 3 persons: Brad Stephen Abercrombie, Jessica Morgan, and Willie Stephen Potter. The above authorities will claim that they cannot predict the future. They were not asked to predict the future. They were asked to act on the information they already had. Bill Fields was informed of the threats of murder made by Potter more than 3 weeks before the event. Fields was also requested to ask a judge to revoke Potter's bond. It has been reported by NBC that over 75% of the time, a person who reports murder threats to law enforcement ends up murdered by the persons who made the threats. Potter was out of jail on bond for stealing a bulldozer. Jessica had an order of protection placed against Potter, which had been violated by Potter on several occasions. Potter also had warrants out for him from Saline County and Hot Springs County. Potter had more than violated the conditions of his bond. The failure of Saline County Sheriff's Department or the Saline County Prosecutor's Office to issue one document caused these deaths. The Supreme Court of the United States has ruled that under habeas corpus, a person on probation, on parole, or on bond is considered to be in custody because they are subject to restraints not shared by the general public. This special relationship demands the state has a duty to protect when they are aware of the danger. On October 21, 2006, Stephen Potter attempted to commit suicide by drug overdose and was transported to Saline Memorial Hospital by Medtran, the ambulance arm of the hospital. At this time, law enforcement should have been informed that Potter was a danger to himself and others. Why was Potter not arrested for possession of a controlled substance or confined to a drug rehab program? The case file on the murders contains 3 separate suicide letters written by Potter. One of the letters asks his family to leave Jessica alone. These letters point to the possibility more than one attempt at suicide. The letters also beg to question how much his family knew in advance of the murder. One of the letters included, "Uncle Dave agreed to haul me to my grave." This arrangement by an otherwise healthy 31-year-old would be unusual at best, unless he was planning his actions in advance. Despite the claims of his family of what a good son he was, the incident reports on Potter going back 10 years range from assaults, violations of order of protection, battery, harassment, criminal mischief, terroristic threatening, theft of property, forgery, theft by receiving, altering of in, tampering with evidence, and ultimately murder. The Saline County Sheriff's Office under Phil Mask has made much to do about their domestic violence program. Where were they on this case? It would seem that preventing murder would not bring Phil Mask the news coverage he wants. Letting the murders happen did. Now he can continue to show his crime-solving abilities. The Saline County Sheriff and prosecutor will claim limited immunity from any wrongdoing, but that immunity is only available for acts made in good faith, not the failure to act. Immunity was established to prevent lawsuits that would hinder government from being able to do their job. This would not hinder them from doing their job. It would demand that they do the job.